How do you think Brodie Croft looked today?
Thought he looked like Brodie Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds have won back-to-back rugby league titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Peacock.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds.
It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league, that.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
The Lot Pod is kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Fast Signs are an established family-run business who've been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast. Hi everyone, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17-8 podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. This is the match review panel for St Helens versus Leeds Rhinos. Joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing statsman, Statman Reese. How are you?
We have a table.
It's a positive.
It's
the only positive.
This is Saturday evening, and me and Eddie got here at 7:30, and it's now.
We've been crying since.
We've been messing around for an hour because we decided we wanted a table.
Something to cheer us up.
So yeah, we've feng shuied. So I'm feeling distraction
Josh
therapy.
is here, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm all right, thank you.
How are you, Josh?
Good, thanks, Eddie. Last night was a tough carry. I don't know. I woke up this morning thinking, what on earth can we say which has not been said already?
You woke up this morning saying, can you get someone else?
Yeah.
On the pod,
He did,
please?
yes.
I did.
This
Yeah.
is a violent.
Word for word this morning was, do we have to do this?
It's awful.
Well, for those that I was a late call up to the team list
off the bench.
tonight, yeah, and I woke up this morning thinking, what on earth can I say which hasn't already been said a million times over on this pod this season? But yeah, a few chats with our friend Rob of Square Ball fame, and he's perked me up. I think I got something perhaps slightly different to say to last time. I did look at my notes this morning from last night's game, and they were exactly the same as last time.
I just changed the fixture. Oh, well, Huddersfield. Whatever it was, just changed that to
I
St.
stopped
Helens
taking notes.
I
just wrote everything is shit.
This is up, yeah. There you go. By the way, expletive warning for this. I do think, so if any kids are watching, just the parents of children, anyone that doesn't want to hear swear, I do think I am going to swear at least 3 times.
I'm prepared to put money on that.
Because I've just held it in all day, all night. Everything is shit. This is a therapy session.
Again.
I'm going to ask these two, we're going to discuss it, but comment below, kind of play along, share your thoughts, spew it all out, get it off your chest. If you're driving in the car, play along at home, wherever you are, just shout and get it off your chest, and by the end, hopefully, we all do feel better. I've got 2 positives. The fans that went over, they looked good, did feel for them, and our listening figures.
Yeah.
Through the roof, because obviously we get more non-Leeds fans coming into.
Yes, we do. That was producer Chris's positive, wasn't it? Every time we, Huddersfield was our most listened pod this year, because obviously we lost in that manner. Other fans do come along. So yeah, that was my only positive. I literally haven't.
So hi to all the Saints fans.
I did kind of think that Croft and Newman being back in the side would have been positives, but then everything was just shit. So I'm not going to say that. The only positive is that we will just get hopefully some good numbers this week.
So that's the positives out the way.
I have one more theory.
Oh my God, there's one more.
I don't think that United and Rhinos can both win on the same weekend.
That's very true.
It's impossible.
That is very true.
So perhaps the Rhinos are taking one for the City last night.
Yeah.
Let's hope so.
I hope so. Certainly hope so.
Let's hope so. But is that how far we've fallen, that we're relying on United to perk us up?
I think so.
I think that says more about Leeds Rhinos than anything we can say right now. So, onto the big question, Rowan Smith. I felt last night that he lost them. I thought they were gone. I thought the errors, the attitude, the application, the everything about the Rhinos' performance last night was deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Now, for me, if they were playing for him, if they are playing for him, they're getting him the sack. If he's lost him, which I think he has, then there's no going back. So if we're in this situation now, I'll go to you first, Josh. When, how, why is Rowan Smith still here?
Well, I did
the
say
$1 million
here,
question
after the
that we've asked
Huddersfield.
about 27 times.
Before Josh speaks, I've been praying that we'd get some update today because I've a living nightmare that we're recording this on Saturday evening and there'll be some news that comes out tomorrow.
No, do you know what will happen? Sorry.
10% off.
We'll record this now. We'll kiss each other and say goodbye in the car park, and it'll break.
Yeah.
And we'll have to come back and let it go.
He's going to have to do it again.
And just scrap everything we just recorded.
Yeah, but go on, Josh. Sorry, I've got that irrational fear at the moment in my head. But
Well, I sat here after that Huddersfield pod and said, for me, it was time for him to go then, because we had those 2 easy games coming up in Hull and London, and I thought that perhaps that was an opportunity to get an interim in and stabilise things. And put a stop to the bad form. That obviously didn't happen. We're now in this situation now. Will he get sacked? The question is, I asked Reece this earlier, or a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking back, Brian McDermott was sacked by Gary Etherington. Yeah. Then Ferner was a Sinfield sacking.
Appointment. Yeah, sacking, yeah.
Agar was mutual... goodbye.
Mutually beneficial.
Yep, see you later.
Mutually agreed he was a load of shit.
Yeah.
Shook hands, agreed, yes.
Although
yes.
I have got a quote here, because I did a bit of research into this. Gary Etherington said at the time with Agar, he saw nothing wrong with the coaching setup, and in fact the culture is the best it's been since the golden generation, including all of the spirit of the Rhinos and everything. What are we hearing now from Rowan? The culture's the best it's been. All this stuff, aren't we? Okay.
That is some solid work there, Mixmaster Josh.
So Agar wasn't sacked, was he? Well, it was mutual.
We were told it was mutual.
Yeah. And now we're on to Rowan. I'm just wondering, Gary hasn't sacked anybody since McDermott, which was, 2018, 6 years ago. We've gone through several coaches since then. I can see a situation where, again, it's a mutual. Rowan's decided to step back. I don't know. The culture has improved thank you for his efforts. The culture's improved so much off the pitch, all this stuff. But yeah, Rowan, mutually goodbye. That's not what I want to happen. Yeah. That's just how I can see it going.
I think that's how it may go.
I just don't think Rowan's built that way. Yeah, he took his comments in a press conference last night. He was asked from the pressure of the fans, are you feeling the pressure? And he just kind of...
It's hard they're going to say
flipped it off.
The pressure.
He's not going to say it, isn't he?
But man walking now. But
the way it came across was almost just a bit like, it was. I've had pressure all my life. Like, this is nothing new, sort of thing. And it was.
He's never had pressure like this.
And no,
he never will again.
There's something about Rowan's character for me that doesn't think that he would be the one that would instigate going. I think he wants. I still think he'd leave at the end of the year anyway. To be honest, but. I said at Huddersfield game, I think I was confident that Rowan's not the guy anymore. Sort of. Yeah. Well, I wasn't necessarily writing off the season, but I was happy to sort of see the season out. This decline, we're going to go through some stats later. This decline is atrocious.
Can I give you some stats now, Statman Reece?
Yeah.
So McDermott had lost 7 games. We were 8th in the table. We were in the Challenge Cup semi-final with 12 senior players injured.
One of those?
Well, exactly. Probably
I remember those. I'm sure I do.
12 players injured, and he got the sack. Ferner was 4 wins from 14. He got the sack. Agar had won 1 in 6 games at the start of the season when he got the sack. JJB had finished with 2 back-to-back wins into Rowan, who won 14 of his first 19 games,
19,
which was brilliant. Since then, we've had 41 games... and he's won 17. He's now got the squad that he's assembled. We've won 3 of the last 10. What's the for me, it's going down. It's not getting better. It's going. There's no sign of any improvement, no stabilising, nothing. So I look at this situation now and it worries me because I think of these top recruits that we've made, who would want to stay at the Rhinos right now? There's no willing sign of any improvement from the board or Gary or anyone.
If you're a player, you want to win trophies.
Yeah, that's why they've signed Croft, Ackers. That's why they've come here, to improve on where they were at with Salford. Would Reece stay here? Would Hanley stay here? Other than their ties to perhaps the fan base, the city itself, why would they want to stay here if we're not looking to actively try and do something to improve this situation? What player would want to sign for us in the off-season? We desperately need to strengthen our pack. Who would want to come and sign for Leeds with this situation if we're burying our head in the sand and saying everything's fine, carry on?
He's got to go. I was happy. I was kind of happy that he wasn't the guy. You see out the season, we'll sort it out in the summer. The decline, not just in recent, as I was saying, but as Josh is saying, the last 2 seasons, even with the overhaul of the squad, spending $300,000 in bringing players, getting rid of bad eggs to improve the culture, we're nowhere near better. In fact, we're worse than last year.
Yeah.
We're worse than last year. We beat Saints. Last year we only lost to Saints by a point twice, I think. They were taking a piss last night.
Yeah, they were laughing.
They were laughing and they were taking a piss, and we were a laughing stock.
We were last night, absolutely.
And that for me, I think Saints. You know what? Saints weren't even that good.
No.
Well,
they're not even. Look at
Saints are shit
compared to previous Saints teams. That team is an absolute shower of shit compared to other Saints teams.
That's another positive. Their pack was decimated. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, they lost Lomax. They lost Batchelor. Rowan can't use injuries as an excuse because they lost more and had players out in the middle. There's no excuses left. He looked like a man defeated at full time, and he didn't go over to the fans. I'm not sure why you would do, to be honest, because why would you want to?
He's dodged a bullet there.
Get that. He went straight down the tunnel. He looked defeated, and I think what you said, Eddie, is regardless of what we're being told about the vibe and the culture, I think the players have given up on him.
Is the only thing keeping him in a job now, Reece, the fixtures? Josh touched on it earlier about how we lost to Huddersfield.
Yeah, we lost to Huddersfield, and
then we had Hull,
yeah.
London.
And we had the conversation about this because I was like, you keep him, it's a false illusion, and it's proved to be.
Is it going to happen again? Because we've got Cass, then we've got a 2-week break.
Yeah.
Then we've got Hull.
Cass will beat us. We play anywhere near like that. Cass coming off a 30 points to 10 victory at Hull the other night, or something like that. They'll beat us.
So I think there'll be an announcement this week.
Do you?
Whether either he's gone or he's going. This week, something will be said about Rowan Smith to say, right, he's leaving at the end of the year, so everyone, it's done. He's going to see us out, or Gary Everington's starting his search now. Rowan's going to stick around, or he'll be gone.
What round was Wakefield last year? Was that round 15?
It were absolutely red hot.
It's
June.
Yeah, it's around now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're a year to the day, almost, not to the day, year to the month, whatever.
And that result, I know feelings are high now, and I get it, but that result was the worst result in Leeds Super League history. And if he survived that, now I know, and I agree, we've spent absolute fortunes, and the squad we've got now, it's not reflected in how we're playing, but I think something will be done before Cass.
To make Rob's point from earlier today, he said Gary's had since that Wakefield game to be finding a replacement.
That's a good point, yeah.
So we can't. This is the thing that winds me up, is when people say, "Oh, but who is there out there?" Or
Leeds Rhinos.
There's Brad Arthur right now.
We are an absolute powerhouse of the Super League. We're the richest club. We've got the biggest fan base. We should be on the front. We should never find ourselves behind the 8-ball. We should be on the front.
Did you feel that way when we were looking for Rowan, though?
When we were looking for Rowan, I thought...
Or when we were looking for a coach, sorry.
Yeah,
I think at the time we had Paul Green,
Shane Flanagan.
Shane Flanagan turned us down. I feel
they were the people I wanted us to go out for and
I'd love Paul
break
Green.
the bank for. Yeah,
but KR went and got a good assistant. They got Willie Peters, and look at KR now. They're flying. Warrington go get a good assistant from the NRL, and Wire. They're at the stage again where they're thinking it's their year again, but actually it looks like there's actual substance to that. They're in a Challenge Cup final and they've beaten Catalan away today. You know, other teams have gone and got good coaches at the right level. We should be leading the way
in that.
And we've ended up with a guy that in the Queensland Cup.
Well, it feels like we're always sort of going around the bargain bucket, doesn't it? Like Agar was never supposed to be that man.
No.
He sort of
temporary.
fell into the role and sort of stayed there because he did all right. But with the Rhinos, we shouldn't be doing all right. We you know, the investors in the club shouldn't be happy with the level that's on the pitch. Did you see what the positions of the last, since McDermott left, since 2017? It was like 9th, 8th, 5th, 8th, something like that.
Yeah.
That's not just nowhere near good enough. And it's not like we're in a league where there's 12 extremely competitive sides. There's usually 3 or 4 sides.
4.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like that. Back to Eddie's point there, our next run of games is Cass, Hull, Lee, London.
With a Challenge Cup break in the middle of it.
But the Challenge Cup breaks mean fuck all.
Yeah.
We had a Challenge Cup break.
We've had
before
two-week breaks.
Before the Huddersfield game. The Huddersfield game's getting mentioned more than this game. We played Saints, by the way. And we had a 2-week break then. We're all expecting... We were on the podcast, whenever it was, Hull KR, whenever that, saying we need a massive reaction. And they're just regurgitating a load of shite. They've just had 2 weeks off now. Fair enough, it were Saints, or whenever... And regurgitating shit. And then, so when we get it after Cass...
But
we can't even expect a reaction because we never fucking get one.
I don't think we will as long as Rowan's coach.
That's why I think there was something decided this week.
This has, for me,
for this run of games,
has to be something. It has to be now because that is the ideal time in the season to find an interim. Look at when JJB came in, I think he lost his first 4. But in the third one, we looked really gritty and competitive.
Yeah, it was 2 wins, a draw, and 2 losses, wasn't it?
Oh, that was it. Lost the first 2, draw, won the last 2. And it was, you could see each week there was improvement. And all he did was strip everything back to basics. He spoke about culture. He is a leader that drives standards, winning mentality, stripped all this stuff back. And this is the perfect set of games to get somebody in, to just strip things back, concentrate on the basics, get back to doing the things which good rugby league teams do. I feel with Rowan, we're too focused on trying to play champagne rugby without earning the right in the first place. We don't do the basics well enough. We don't look after the ball well enough. I've written, our attitude is absolutely horrific under Rowan this season. I've just written a few notes from the game of examples of where our attitude is awful. The first 10 minutes, I'll read these as quick as I can. Jared, at dummy half, 10 minutes in, takes the ball. There was no runners for him at all. No dummy runners, no one trying to come onto the ball. Ended up throwing it to Cam, who had a standing start. He made about 2 metres, if that. Then you've got Frawley not taking control on the last set, taking the easy option, trying to pass it out wide, trying to play this champagne rugby. He went, first 10 minutes of the game, first 20 minutes of the game, you don't need to win on every play you've got. It was in our own half. Yes, sometimes you attack from deep and you do score, as we saw with Brodie Croft and Hanley. But a game manager should know when and when not to do that. When he took that intercept and threw that dreadful pass, which led to a try, was it Matautia's try? Just wrap the ball up. It's simple stuff and it's all attitude.
Just on that one though, that happened at Catalan. We are so soft in terms of a shell going into our shell when the shit gets tough.
Because there's no leaders.
That there, one mistake, error, try. We never looked in the game after that. We just go into this soft egg shell, and we just go into ourselves. And after we actually started playing a bit of rugby in that first 10 minutes, we were trying. But then after that, in that try, we just went into this little crappy shell, and after that it was just one pass every time. Shit tackles. Where's the leadership gone?
He's lost.
There's no backbone. They're coming out of the second half.
They've gone.
They should have been raring to go out.
I know. These things here, I'll just really quick. I watched out for this because of the Harry Grant incident in the NRL. There was no kick pressure the entire game. Nobody ran. Nobody ran for any kick pressure. No. Poor goal line defence.
Choking on his drink. Yeah.
There's a few.
I tried to get it out quick enough without spitting it all over my mic.
There's a few games this season where we said our goal line defence was all right. It was absolutely atrocious last night. So many tries went in just from two bodies falling off the short ball from straight in. Lazzoni absolutely did my head in last night. Came on the field in the second half, gave a penalty away straight away for not standing up properly. At the end of the game, grabs was it Clark's leg when he was playing the ball. Giving away a penalty when we are playing the ball is absolutely criminal. It's all down to attitude. McDonnell let Blake get into his head, and he was niggling all game.
All game, he had him,
and giving so many penalties. Newman not tracking back. absolutely disgraceful. You would not see any of the Saints players. A lot of them Saints players aren't better than our players. But their attitude is, we want to try and win this game. And all that comes from the coach. And again, Rob made a great point today. Look at Newman when he was under Sean Wayne at England. He was brilliant. He was chasing everything down, representing his country. His attitude was very good. And you see him here, just half-assed, kind of. It sort of like ran out of the pit, off the pitch, just jogging back. Couldn't give a toss. Like these examples are from one game, and it just amplifies how the coach's softness around the team. If they were walking to that changing room and JP, Kev, JJB were in there, they would have absolutely smashed them lads at half-time. Just not acceptable.
Yeah.
And for too long, this attitude has not been... And we're trying to play champagne rugby without earning the right in the first place, doing the basics really well. And I think simply that's what our problem is. Yeah.
I agree with all of that.
Yeah.
And I think it goes in with what you're saying, that he's lost the team. Because if the team were bought in, they'd come out of that second half raring to go, whatever he said.
I'm absolutely adamant. Coaches live and die by their decisions, and Rowan will live and die. Not in real life, but I mean, coaches too are going to die. I thought it was deplorable as well that Halifax broke the news.
So fucking amateur, isn't it?
That Jack was playing for them in a game where every Leeds fan on the fucking planet is saying he needs to start. He needs to, for all his bang out of form. And that's a Rowan decision that he'll have to... as a man that's under severe pressure, did anyone around this amazing new table think that was a good idea to send him off to Halifax?
No, it wasn't. He should have been playing. I think that question's easy to answer.
Immense pressure to keep his job.
The club haven't helped him out there. I mean, that news broke, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock?
Yeah. And instantly, every Leeds fan's going, what?
Yeah. So that's the vibe straight away for the game, going, for fuck's sake.
But cover your ears all episode.
And then two hours later, Leeds go, oh, Jackson Fielder and Leon Ruin have gone to dual reg, and go, we already fucking know.
Stop making a rod for your own backing.
Yeah.
If it's going to happen, keep hold of it at least till the team news.
Yeah.
If you've lost the fans, and which he has, and
you've lost the players,
and if you've lost the players, why? It's just a simple win. Play the young lad of the hero of Headingley. Like, it's just a simple thing. If for nothing else, morale. And
it's like we've said loads of times on here. The fans give so much more to these younger players. Yeah. You know, we aren't going to be coming in and bagging them, are we? Like
Jack missed 12 tackles last week.
Yeah. I don't think it got mentioned.
No, because I wasn't here to tell you, but I was drunk in purple.
It got mentioned. There's players like Jared when he first came in, Riley Lum when he started. We never bag them, do we?
Well, if you've got an overseas quota spot, paying a 7 a lot of money to be the general of your team, and he's playing like that, it's fair game to criticise. If a young lad, is he 18 or 19?
19.
He's so young, learning the most difficult position on the field. There is so much more grace for him to make those errors.
Of course it is.
It's an easy win for Rowan to just put him in.
Yeah, it was a big own goal. 1, not to pick him, and then 2, to really put Rowan on a back foot straight away on the afternoon. Because straight away, all those fans that were going over there, the majority...
Every one of it is not
going straight away.
All their noses out of joint instantly.
Yeah.
Instantly. You just think...
And anyone that was thinking of going over for a last-minute ticket, well, fuck that.
I think they knew at 1 o'clock, didn't they? And I think, I ain't going now.
Yeah.
I'll stay at home. Matty Russell did make his debut. He did start for us. 28 minutes Leeds career. Thanks.
Thanks, Matty.
Thanks, Matty. Thanks for coming. No, I'm sorry he got injured. Longer Leeds career than Joe Greenwood. Remember that? Signed him and he never played a game.
Don Crosby.
So that's Matty. Yeah, another one. That's Matty Russell. But my point here is it's now time for Ned McCormack.
Well, there's no one else left, is there? I mean, Jack Smith's injured, I think, or he's nursing something.
Depends.
Riley's out. Fossey 2 is out. Nomi's not back for a week or 2.
So I'm thinking he might put Roberts on the wing.
He'll have to revert to Roberts onto the wing. He's got no choice.
Roberts was absolutely atrocious last night.
Good finish, though.
Yeah.
The one time we passed it more than fucking once.
That was God.
That was one of the only players this season where in their 20, Ackers, Croft, Lockie, Roberts,
all linked up. It was
brilliant.
a nice work try.
Yeah. We've been crying out for it all year.
What round are we in? 12. Round 12.
I wish it was 27, to be honest.
Roberts just, I mean, it must have been one of his worst games last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't like the criticism that Roberts gets sometimes because I feel like it's a bit too vicious and hateful towards him, but it doesn't help. I mean, the high ball one, he does that often, and I agree he should be taking that.
There's two
but the worst one in our own half, when it was just a simple pass with no pressure and just there was. I mean, we'll go into stats, but we had 15 errors last night, and whilst Rowan is to blame for me for a lot of what we're seeing, I do think the players need to be looking in the mirror as well after that performance last night and going
coach killer. Absolutely.
I mean, they didn't help the coach, but equally they didn't also help themselves.
That's what I mean.
The thing is, a lot of them errors come from the attitude. I think I had a look at that as well. The average errors for Super League is 8 per game, so we've nearly doubled.
Are you after my job?
Sorry, mate.
Statman Josh.
But what I was going to say was Roberts. I just think he needs taking out. He's an absolute liability.
We haven't got anyone left there, Josh.
Listen,
Ned?
Alfie Edgell, I really
Alfie?
I think he's really safe under the high ball. And I said it last time. People keep saying he's a fullback. Yeah, he is. He's an out-and-out fullback. But I think he does a better job on the wing than Lewis Roberts.
Yeah.
You can often see fullbacks go onto the wing. Tom Trebojevic would play on the wing. You know, it's not such a big difference. Your back three, your yardage carries out of the back on the first play is all similar. You've got to be safe under the high ball. If anything, wing's slightly easier to play than fullbacks. You don't have to link into the line as much. Edgell has done nothing wrong this year at all. He's just proved he's safe under the high ball and his carries out yardages are strong. I would just give him a real simple game plan and just put him on the wing. He's full of confidence. Why persist with someone who is absolutely lacking in confidence?
Take him out the firing line. Yeah. Did it with Frawley for a game. 2 games.
Sorry, that beer's really gassy.
I'm just glad you're not
for those that are on Spotify. Me and Josh have got a beer in mind. It's quite gassy.
Statman Reese, it's time to go into Stats Corner.
Here's a guy who's got a mouth like a snare and a voice like a cat trapped in one. It's Statman Reese. You are listening to Stat and Race with Stats Corner. Stats Corner. Stats Corner. You're listening to Stats Corner. You're listening to Stats Corner.
Is that the first time we played it? No, we have played it before with you being here, Josh. When I wrote this, I was thinking things can only get better, and then I realised
theme of the week.
The stat
should have spoke about that.
The stats are it's not great.
Strap yourselves in, everyone.
So I'll start with the team stats. So possession 4 was 42%. Set completion rate improved overnight actually to 68%.
Really?
Yeah, because Super League Match Centre updates it all the time. It's really annoying. Completed sets 17, carries 132, meters 888, post contact meters 449, plays in the opposition 20, 6. Tackle busts 20. Missed tackles 45 and
45.
errors
that's like 3
14. Yeah, so how do they compare this season? So 40 points and 7 tries is the most we've conceded this year. 42% possession 4 is the new low. 68% set completion rate is our second lowest. 17 completed sets is a new low and is also the second lowest in Super League this year. 132 carries is a new low. 888 meters is a new low.
Already dead. They're dead.
449 post contact meters is the third lowest. 6 plays in the opposition 20 meters is a new low and the third lowest in Super League this season. We did. Yeah, that's a conversion of 1 in 6. Not bad that. 20 tackle busts is our third lowest this season. 45 missed tackles is our second highest this season. The highest being last week. And 15 errors is the second highest so far this season.
Apart from that, played all right.
I mean, it
45 missed tackles.
45. Yeah, well, that's an improvement on last week. We were 54 last week.
Jesus Christ! I didn't know that, did I? 45 missed tackles. Are these stats just telling us what we already know?
Yeah.
I've got more, but we'll go into that in a minute.
Well, it got raised on the pod last week. Has it ever worked when a coach gets sacked mid-season? And I would like to say yes, because there's two different things here. If a coach getting sacked, look at the stats that I gave earlier about those coaches that left. Every single one of them, it stabilised afterwards. So for me, that's the right decision. JJB came in, stabilised. Rowan then came and got us to a GF, so you can't say that didn't work. But even putting that aside, there's something completely different here. Sacking the coach midway through the season can be the right decision. Appointing the next coach is a totally different decision and a different conversation, whether that was the right appointment or not. So yes, I think sacking a coach mid-season, these stats show to me nothing is improving.
They're rotting.
Yeah, it's getting worse. And the thing that worries me, I mentioned it before, who would want to come to play for Leeds? The other argument I've heard is, how can you blame Rowan when the squad's so poor and all this stuff? Again, for me, they go hand in hand. He's built this squad. And second of all, they're not mutually exclusive. Like, is that the right phrase? They don't come together. You can have a bad coach and a poor squad. And a better coach could get, I believe a better coach could get more out of this squad. I looked into our front row because I think this is absolutely disgraceful for a squad of our calibre. Wigan have got 10 props. Catalans have got 8 props. Warrington have got 7. Saints have got 7. Leeds have got 4 props. 5 if you include Gudemond. By the way, these are props that have played 20 Super League games or more.
Minimum, yeah.
So how are we meant to compete? Everybody knows that you win or lose games since the start of rugby.
It's the dawn of time.
Through your forwards. Our pack is light.
We ain't got one.
We ain't got one. One injury to Hull, and out of them 4, by the way, is Sangare, who I don't believe is good enough to play for us, and Lizoni, who I think is unconditioned, and for his quota spot and the money he's on, I'm still yet to be totally impressed. I know he's a bit of a cult hero, but I think in another era he probably wouldn't make our team.
Do you want to know the meters per game for our props?
Do I?
Aletsky's 109.
The horror show continues.
Aletsky's 109. Credible, perfect. You can't beat him. Unbelievable player. Holroyd 35. Sone 73.
Hang on, what do you mean? Holroyd didn't play last night.
This is per meters per game
average.
this year.
Yeah.
Lasone 73. Sangare 53. That's the 4.
That's it.
That's our 4 props.
Gudemond is on 57.
Gudemond's more than Sangare.
Yep.
Tom Holroyd, you can see, sometimes a game plan can be to get a quick play of the ball. And I feel like at the start of the season, when it was 8 and 10, Mick and Tom, Mick was out to get your meters, Tom was out to get the quick play of the balls. But putting that aside, those meters are just not impressive at all. Since his pack was decimated last night, they had Walmsley, Knowles, Wingfield, Parsi, Whitley, Batchelor went off. They still dominated our pack. How are we supposed to win a game with that? I believe, yes, a squad could get better out of this, but also we're crying out for a director of rugby to assemble a squad that is competitive. We've got a brilliant number 6. We've got a brilliant number 9. How are they supposed to be playing behind a beaten pack every single week? This is Super League. You get 2 or 3. You have carry injuries all the time. How are we supposed to compete when, of our 4 props, 1 goes down, you're light. 2 aren't. Are they up to? 1 definitely isn't up to it. Another one's questionable, in my opinion. It's just the whole thing just isn't good enough.
So in the last 5 games, I've got some where we are in the table. It's best to worst ranking for these stats at the moment. So points scored, we're 8th. Points conceded, we're 8th. Tries scored, we're 8th. Tries conceded, we're 9th.
We're 9th.
Possession 4, we're 9th. Carries 11th. Meters 8th. Post contact meters 9th. Tackle bus 5th. That's the only one where we're in the top half.
So we're in the playoffs for the tackle bust.
Set completion, we're 10th.
This is like Jesse Marsh metrics.
Set completion rate, we're 10th. Completed sets, we are stone dead last. Players in the opposition 20. Somehow we're 8th. I just refuse to believe that. Meters conceded, we're 9th. Missed tackles, we're 8th. And errors, we are also stone dead last.
And where are we in the league?
we're 8th, aren't we?
So we're doing quite well.
So I always say that people say that stats don't tell the truth. It's pointing to everything that is wrong with this style. All the teams that are the top of the league have the most metres, the most possession for, the least metres conceded. Rugby league is a basic game. Like, play rugby in the right areas. Get up the field, territory, play the ball in their 20.
And like I said earlier, it's not like the league is full of 12 really competitive teams.
No, there's 4, isn't there?
Yeah.
That.
So we're not one of them.
We're absolutely not one of them. Let's look at Hull KR. I mentioned this to you lot earlier in the week. Willie Peters did an interview with Dave Woods when he got the job, and he just said they're too soft in contact and in the ruck. And he said, rugby league is a really simple game. All I'm going to work with this season, and actually Ryan Hall did a similar interview on the same day, they just worked on their conditioning, their fitness. They wanted to be one of the fittest teams in the league. And they worked on their ruck speed and their defence. That's all they worked on. They wanted to be a real gritty, tough team. And I would say that under him, they've improved no end.
Massively.
They're really competitive. And going back to that point, I feel like Rowan's just taking shortcuts with all these short dropouts and trying to get tries from deep early in the game. And it looks great. And we have signed some good players. Croft can pull out some magic. But having these brilliant players can only get you so far. It can get you to about 8th. At some point, you've got to build a really strong structure and a grittiness to your side, which can build a platform, and then you bring in the expansive rugby, the champagne rugby. I think he's taking shortcuts.
Rowan's had 2-week breaks this year to reset the script, to go back to basics. And at no point have we come back from those breaks and gone,
no.
We're in
That's
better
why
shape.
I think for the next one, there'll be a decision.
What's the point in it? If we're not going to do anything with it, because he's not going to do anything with it.
I feel there'll be a decision this week on either way.
Right. Well, let's go to the players anyway.
Let's jump into the player stats. They're better.
We've got 2 players over 100 metres, and I now enjoy the fact that we do a quiz. So you've just looked now. Who's got over 100 metres? Mick got 1. Actually got 100. And Hanley got 126. The only 2 players that can probably look themselves in a mirror. Carries.
But that's just every week, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not exclusive to this.
It comes to Josh's point, like, why they are loyal to Leeds to a fault. But if they want to win trophies, they're some of the best players in Super League. At the moment, they're not winning any at Leeds, so why would you want to stay? I know there's rumours of Hanley to Catalan. Like,
I'd include Martin in that as well.
Yeah, or Martin. If he got offered by Dolphins, I'd be telling him to do it right now. Carries, Aledsky and Miller led with 14, Croft with 12.
Miller.
Yeah. Tackle busts, Russell had 4. Well done, Mike.
It's not bad. 28 minutes.
Hanley and Roberts had 3 each. Tackles, McDonald led the way with 44, Smith 41, and O'Connor 39. Missed tackles, Roberts had 9, which was the second highest by a Leeds player this season. The highest was Jack last week. Aledsky missed 6, McDonald, Martin and Newman missed 4. Errors, Hanley had 3, Roberts, Miller and Russell had 2. And then penalties, McDonald and Lasone had 2 as well.
And those 2 from Lasone were infuriating.
Yeah, they were.
As were McDonald. It was purely because Wonga Blake clapped in his face when he lost his head.
Yeah. Deep breaths, everyone.
So, if Rowan Smith were to go sometime soon, probably asked this question 12 million times, there is now, from when I previously asked you, the question I'm about to ask you, we do now have Brad Arthur available. Is he the most attractive?
We're looking at the NRL expert over there. So
is he the most attractive coach that's been available for a long time?
I mean, there's one name I can see on there, which is Jason Demetriou, and look what he did at Souths. He tore that team apart. He's a no. Brad Arthur, though.
Brad Arthur took
a team who just won the Spoon, and he's in the Eels. They just won the Spoon when he got there, and he took them all the way to a grand final. During his time, he managed to finish in the 8, I think, every time but once. And he was there, was it 11 years?
And he was a head coach as well.
Head coach, yeah.
So you're not talking assistant here, you're talking an experienced head coach.
And he's come out and said, I'm desperate to coach, I want a job as soon as possible. As I mentioned earlier, we are a powerhouse side of the Super League. We should be going for people like this. These are experienced coaches that have seen it all. He's not only that. We mentioned the point about needing a director of rugby, and I do stand by that because we need the coach is easier to replace than what the squad is. So we need somebody to build a squad, and what we're missing at the minute is, as I've mentioned, our pack needs some significant improvement.
Yeah, we need a pack.
Yeah, we need one. We need I still believe we need a 7. Probably need an outside back, but I don't mind if we're going to give the youngsters a go there. And I think what we desperately need within those recruits is some leaders who know what it means to win and can drive the standards, like a Peacock, a Sinfield, a Maguire, a Jamie Jones. The list goes on. And Brad Arthur has built that squad at Parramatta. He brought those players in, and by all accounts, they were absolutely gutted to see him leave. That was his side that he built, and they were in a grand final 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think for me,
it's a standout candidate. Surely,
look, you've got if a standout candidate's available, you've got to go and get it. But they've got to make the big decision first, which is just getting rid of Rowan.
Well, sorry to interrupt there. To come back to the Souths and Parramatta situation right now, Wayne Bennett, everybody knew he was leaving the Dolphins at the end of this year. Christian Wolff is taking over. I actually said to you, we should go and try and get him because he said previously he's not against coaching in Super League. He has a relationship with Sinfield from the England job. He liked doing the England job. He's pro the world game. I said, why don't we just go and try and get him before anyone else does? And it's probably too, Yeah. But, nothing
wrong with being ambitious.
Yeah, exactly. The point is, Souths identified things weren't going well with Demetriou. They acted. They got Wayne Bennett straight away. Parramatta dilly-dallied over Brad Arthur, and I don't know if you've been following it, it was all blown up. They tried to get Wayne Bennett as a last-ditch attempt before he signed for Souths, but they just took too long. They were just faffing around. And now what's happened with Brad Arthur leaving, there's another club in the NRL looking for a coach that we've got to compete against. Mm-hmm. We need to be quick with this. We can't just sit back and wait for I don't know, this perfect...
And even if it's
we need to go and make it happen.
Sign it and he takes over next year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what Wayne Bennett's done, isn't he? But, I think for me, the cycle of shit just needs to stop. Mm-hmm. I generally don't mind if the club take the time. If they don't make the decision with Rowan, I won't be happy about it. But if they do make the decision eventually, I'd rather them take the time because I'm sick of this cycle of just shit and just transition and over and this, because if we bring a new coach in, he's going to have to change the squad again to suit him. We're going to go through the cycle all over again. They have to get it right, but they ultimately have to make the right decision now, which is stop the rot.
Well, that's why I think he has to go now. The reason he has to go now is to stop this decline, because I don't see anything changing. As Eddie said, we've had 2 breaks with the Challenge Cup and nothing's happened. I don't see anything changing. So that needs to change now to stop the rot, stop the decline, and also that point of we've said we need more players next summer. Who's going to want to sign for us? At the minute, we're not an exciting project, are we? We're one in decline. So that needs to happen right now. And back to that question, is it successful to sack a coach mid-season? Yes, it is, because of those reasons.
If you do it right.
Just that one element, just to get rid of him. That is the right decision for me. The next part of that question is appointing the right coach. And I think we have up until next season to appoint that right coach. But what I would say is be on the front foot. Don't just sit and wait for it to happen. The coaches are going up. Like when we did get Rowan Smith, there was Sean Flanagan, there was Desi Hasler, there was Paul Green. There was all these big-name coaches with experience. There was Sean Wayne was out of a job. There was all these... And by the way, I'm not saying I necessarily want Sean. I'm just making the point. There were these big-name coaches that have been there before, not assistants, coaches that have actually done it. And by being lazy off the mark or slow off the mark or a bit laid back, we've missed out on people in the past. We need to be proactive in this.
Should we just...
It feels a bit moot because I just don't believe that the club will do it. I don't think they will do it. I know you're saying you think there will be a call. I generally think they'll give him the Cass game, but I can tell you now, when they go 6-0 up in the first 10 minutes, Headingley will vote with its noise quite quickly. There's polls out there. I think Laurie did a poll last night, and there was over 600, 700 votes in this. It was something like 89, 90% of people wanted Rowan Smith out. Yeah. Anyone that was on the fence before Friday night has come across.
They must have done, surely.
People, yeah, no, I generally think they have, because 90% at the moment are Rowan Smith out.
Yeah,
according to Laurie's poll. I've got the player ratings here.
Should we jump in?
Because
player ratings time.
Well, I'll leave Rowan till last. Oh, should you want to do Rowan first? Or
no, leave him till last. We'll leave him for dessert. We've discussed him enough.
So Miller 3.1, Matty Russell 4.2
for 28 minutes. That's not bad. 4.2.
Harry Newman 3.3, Lewis Roberts 3.0, Ash Hanley.
Quite high for Robert Smith.
It's not the lowest. Ash Hanley 6.1, Brody 5.1, Frawley 2.3.
I expected that to be lower.
Aledzki 4.7, Jared 4.7.
That's too low.
Sangare 3.0.
He's the only one who defends with aggression, and he's a friend of the pod, so I'm never gonna.
He did actually definitely hit someone. He did hit someone in the second half. It definitely wasn't illegal either. McDonnell 4.0, Martin 5.0, Cammy 3.2, and I do actually think we need to talk about Cammy, because I think his leadership. I'm not seeing the leadership.
You know
that
why,
I'd hope.
don't you?
Go on.
He cut his fucking mullet.
He did, didn't he? Sorry, absolutely. We told him pre-season the powers in the mullet. I wish people would just listen to us.
Completely cut the fucking thing off, and now we completely fall to shit. It's no coincidence. It ain't in.
Right, I'm taking the 3 off that 3.2. It's now 0.2 for Cammy.
God knows why he did that.
But I am disappointed in his leadership at the moment.
Let's talk about that, I think.
Hang on, I'll go finish his ratings. The Sone 2.9, TNW 3.9, Ackers 4.1, and Gudamon 4.0. I'll leave Rowan Smith to the end. Because I do think
we'll have dessert.
Cammy, I don't know. Cammy was the right decision for captain for me, and we Cam Smith Appreciation Society. I do think he's not been allowed to flourish in this setup, in this side. He's barely had the ball in hand. He hasn't got any options, because all we do is just one pass and take it up, and he's there just going, well, I'm going to just have to take this in because I've got no one on my shoulder, no one there.
No one there.
But again, last 2 games, error, try, backbone, non-existent, no leadership, we fold. We just fold. And that leadership, which we said last year there was none, we're seeing it. I just feel like we've been talking about the same shit for about a year now.
Probably since Agar.
We had 6 months of...
When did this podcast
We had 6 months where Rowan somehow, on the basis of what we're seeing at the moment, got shit together. But since the start of last year, nothing's changed. It's just getting worse. But I am disappointed in Cammy.
With Cammy, I think he's playing particularly poor this season, unfortunately.
But I do think that's part of the system, him not being able to flourish. He's barely got his hands on the ball.
But I think
or when he's got his hands on the ball, there's no options. And it's just a one-pass job.
I think that with Croft as well and Ackers, I think a top coach sees the players he has and gets the best out of them by creating a game plan for his players. There's no point, for example, creating a off-the-cuff style game plan for a team that are just real gritty and battlers and just, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Whereas Rowan's trying to get these players to fit his style, and it's just not working. He should be getting a system to fit them, if you know what I mean. And Cammy's not flourishing in what's going on right now. But last year, I saw no leadership last year, and there was a lot of criticism over the leadership group instead of the captain.
There was no captains, and we got told there were split groups. And
it got raised, should Cammy be captain? And I was in the minority here, and I don't want it to be misunderstood because I do absolutely love Cam. I think he's a brilliant player. But I saw no leadership last year, and Cam was part of that group. And I thought he probably isn't a captain material yet, maybe in the future. But out of the options, I did say it should be him. But it does not surprise me that we still look like we've got no leadership, because he was still there last year, pretty much wearing the armband each year, each game when we looked like we had no leadership. But on his form this year, it has been a bit of a shame. Like even the simple things of just taking up and running hard, it just doesn't seem. Just something's not right. To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if he's totally fed up with Rowan, and just
because he wants to play with the ball in hand, and he's not getting He's not getting the opportunity to do what he's good at. How can you not? How when you have Ackers, Smith, and Croft, and we play like we do? Just one pass rugby.
The players get a lot of stick, but I think in this, and rightly so. But I think I've seen enough in Cammy. I've seen enough in Croft, Ackers, elsewhere. I've seen enough in Miller in the NRL and at the start of this season to say that we've got a good spine that could play well with a good coach. Do you know what I mean?
So sack the current one and go get one new one then.
Yeah.
Brad Arthur.
Which leads me on to Rowan's rating.
What's the lowest he's ever had? 1.8?
1.2, which was last week.
It can't be 1 this week, can it?
It's going to be lower than that.
Go on then. Go on. Let's have some fun with this.
0.3.
0.3?
0.8.
He named a side, didn't he?
Huh?
He named a side.
He named a side.
0.8.
So that's one thing he did.
0.8, 0.3. Bang in the middle pretty much. 0.5.
0.5.
That's the barometer.
Can I tell you how I rate on this thing? Because it gets brought up every week, the number scores. I think when a player enters the field, they start on a 5.
Is this how you do it?
No, it's 6.7 because in Football Manager they're starting at 6.7.
You're 6.7.
It's 6.7, but for me, the scale goes from 0 to 10. So if you enter the field, you're at a 5. If you're doing stuff well, you go up. If you're doing stuff bad, you go down. So if someone's only played for 30 seconds, they might get a 5. If someone's played for 80 minutes and had a shocker, they might get a 2. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I do it.
Or a 0.5.
Or a 0.5. So for Rowan, I don't see anything in his tactics that was good at all last night. I thought his team selection was wrong with Jack Sinfield. Like, really wrong. And the management of the squad was wrong in that situation.
Everything was wrong.
I didn't see anything. So when that game started, it started at 5. There was not a single thing to bring him up from a 5. It just went down, down, down. And I think I gave him a 0.
Oh, he started at a 0 for me and he finished at a 0.
It never fucked you
Gary,
up.
just do it.
What was Ash Handley the top scoring player?
4
points.
God, we've got to do a player. How the hell do we do a player of the match from this?
5 points. I'm sure it was Ash.
It's Ash. 6.1 was the highest.
6.1 for Ash. So
there was a nomination from the WhatsApp group for player of the match, which was Jack Sinfield for avoiding being on the pitch and therefore not being scrutinised, and therefore the cleverness.
Jack, you do know he'd have won man of the match, not even for playing for Halifax tomorrow, today.
I hope he has an absolute stormer.
I do. Is it an hat-trick?
More than I want him to do of a stormer.
It's every single kick he touches. So, Fast Times player of the match time. Statman Reese, do you agree with the player ratings? Do you think it's Ash Handley, or have you got another selection?
I just don't know how you pick any of them, to be honest. I think Ash, yeah, whatever. Ash. I think Aledski's score should be a bit higher, to be honest, from there. But other than that,
he missed a few tackles on the line, which led to tries.
I think it was he missed 6 or something.
They were important ones.
Just give it to Ash.
Mixmaster Josh.
I don't think there's anyone better than Ash.
Yeah.
So through that, why not?
Fast Times player of the match, Ash Handley. Anything else we need to discuss before we say goodbye to this puke of a doom session?
The only thing I'd like to emphasise is the need, I think, for a director of rugby. I think the squad management since 2015 probably hasn't been good enough. And I think we need to focus on not only I think we need to get rid of Rowan. That's just a basic.
Do it.
Just do it. We need to find an interim coach. You always hear at Saints, Holbrook came in, he just stripped everything back to basics, got them enjoying playing rugby again. Run hard, tackle hard, just do the basics right.
Just give it to Chev and JJB for a couple of weeks.
Well, JJB is who I would want.
Give it to Chev and JJB, just let them do it.
But for the bigger picture, I think we desperately need a director of rugby, someone who is experienced in the role.
But Richie Minor's already taken, Josh, so what are we going to do?
Oh, shit.
We could sign Zach Hardacre again.
The best have gone. Yeah, we could have Zach.
Sorry, Josh, you're making a point. But it's just like, for fuck's sake.
4th debut, God knows how many times.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, we do need a director. I think, look, it's the way that all modern sports going. Yeah. It's the NFL model, isn't it? Having a general manager. Football's gone down the director of football route. You're seeing it. Do you see it in the NRL quite often now? Yeah.
Every team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so look, it's clearly the modern way.
You hear people say...
Sorry, I'm just ad-libbing.
You hear people say, this isn't football. But no, it isn't. But football moved on. Football didn't used to be like this.
No.
It's too hard in a salary cap sport to change your squad every year. You need a director of rugby to assemble a really competitive squad with the right balance of senior pros and leaders and young fresh talent with energy. You need that independent of the coach. The coach comes in and works with what he's got. Yeah, he'll make 1 or 2 tweaks here and there, of course he will. But you need a director of rugby, because if the coach comes in and it doesn't work, it's much easier to get another coach than it is a brand new squad. So we need to get a director of rugby to build that squad up this summer, and a coach that is good, and as in a coach that can work with that squad, that suits the squad that we're going to build. And if in a year's time from now that coach hasn't worked, at least we've got a squad there that can be competitive for somebody else, an attractive proposition for a coach to come into, which I don't feel we're at right now.
No, we're not. And I agree with you. I do think the director of rugby is probably the way to go. But step 1, Gary, just do it. Just get rid.
I'm sure something will be decided this week.
Thank
you, Mick
I don't believe that.
Thank you, Statman Reese. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube. We're pushing for 1,000 subs. If anything does break, excuse me, we will jump on and do an emergency pod of some sort via StreamYard if anything does break through the week or any time. So please do follow us on YouTube. We'll be back for the midweek roundup, previewing the Castleford game, but I've got a feeling that will, I'm quite adamant, turn into
we might
an
have
emergency
another one.
pod.
We also need to mention Patreon as well, obviously.
Yeah, if you've enjoyed this,
time
Doom.
to launch a
Doom.
Patreon.
Yeah, we're leading after the shittest Super League season.
The usual thing about Patreon, it doesn't mean that we're putting anything behind a paywall. Ever. It just means that if you do like the content and you want to contribute to help move this podcast forward, you can contribute from £1, £3, £5 a month. You can do it for 1 month. You can do it for as long as you like. Anything is appreciated. £1 would buy us screws for this table, because there's currently no screws in this table. So we've been playing with fire all evening on this table. But
Reese is holding up with something. His hands are there. I don't know what's holding it up. A bit weird.
And on that note,
we'll see you through the week. Take care.